In the past, probably since World War II until 10 years ago, the chronological resume was everybody did it, all over the world. Put an objective statement down, start listing your work history in reverse order, there you go. It may still be the good choice for some people, but for a lot of other people it's not. These two might be better choices depending on your situation, functional or combination. So these are pretty much your three main choices. Electronic is basically plain text. I don't know if everybody's familiar with computers and what that means. It's a really simple electronic version that some employers like. Easy for machines to read, easy for companies that have old versions of Microsoft to also read. So we'll talk a little bit about how to do that. If you're looking for templates or examples of these different resume styles, this is a good website to check out. Like I said, it was the traditional style. Start with your most recent position and work your way backwards. If you choose to use it, I would still not go back more than 10, 15 years tops. If you have any dates from the 90s on your resume, that'll work against you most likely. You still want to stress your major accomplishments. You still want to be tailoring your language and hitting those keywords. Kind of hard to do the front loading though if you've got important information, but it's a couple jobs in the past. That's one of the challenges with it. But if you've been in the same career for a long time and you've shown steady kind of progression, more experience, more responsibility, kind of like you're leveling up in a video game, it can still be really useful. So keep it in mind if that fits your situation. This is a very short, condensed example, so it can fit on one PowerPoint slide. Radio rider here. His professional forecast, seeking a position where I can, right there, rodeo has gone off the rails. He's called it a professional forecast, but what he really has here is an objective statement. Objective statements are very old-fashioned. Do not have the word objective on your resume. Replace it with summary of experience or career highlights or something like that. And then make sure you're not talking about yourself. A good summary statement, it should not be about what I want. I am seeking a position where I can, employers don't care what you want at this point. They want what they want. Give them what they want. Tell them what you're going to do for them. Tell them what you're going to add to their experience and how you're going to help them. That's what your summary statement should be. And we'll go over an example of a good summary statement later. Otherwise though, Rod gets into it pretty well here. He's kind of going back in order. He's got some good figures here. Ooh, $1 million, that pops out. Not sure what that's about, but it draws the eyes. Other good numbers, showing, hopefully he's showing some career progression where he's advancing throughout his career. Yep. Not bad, okay. Combination or hybrid resume, exactly what it sounds like. You're combining the highlight section of the functional resume, yet still having a somewhat built out career history section. And you can kind of expand or contract however you feel fit. So if you want to focus more on your skills and experience, build it out. If you want, like, oh, I had some cool jobs there, I want to tell more about that. And contract this part and expand the career portion. So it's really flexible. You still want to list your skills and qualifications at the top, good for front loading, but still emphasize your major accomplishments. Well, it works for pretty much everyone. That's the beauty of it. It is very flexible. Almost anyone can make use out of this. If you've had that steady career progression, but you had that really cool experience from 20 years ago, you can take it and put it up in a highlights section if you're using the hybrid resume style. All right. I'll show you some examples. Here's one. Chris Cross, he's got professional goals at the top, a little alternative to the summary statement. Whoops! He still has this stuff though. Securing a position where I can, all right, Chris, they don't care yet what you want. Drop this first section. I will utilize my skills and abilities as a customer service manager to help your company. Oh, okay, that's what they want to hear. What are you going to do for us, Chris? Not what can we do for you. That comes later when you're negotiating. Otherwise, though, he's got his core of skills and abilities, hopefully matching the job description again. He still has some bullets under his professional experience. And again, you can expand or contract that as you feel the need. I've got another example right here. This is for a healthcare position. All right, there you go. And you can see how she starts her professional experience about halfway down. Still quite a lot of bullet points under those past job experiences. So again, you can expand or contract that however you feel the need for that particular job you're applying for. So really useful, very flexible. So we'll talk a little bit about an electronic resume. Again, it's the most basic format for pasting into, say, an application, or when an employer requests it because they're using a 15-year-old version of Microsoft and they can't read your Word document. So usually for reading by a computer, though. So do you guys have, is everybody familiar with this, or show a quick example? Okay, so let's take a look-see. So, where are we here? So here's this resume right here that I just gave you guys. It's a little bit fancy. It's got bold. It's got these cool little arrow things and stuff like that that an older version of Microsoft might not be able to handle. It'll come up across as gibberish and everything will be all messed up. So they might say, can you send us that in plain text? Can you send us an electronic version? So what you can do, if you've got... Yep. So we're basically going to save it in a new version. So we can go over to File, and we're going to click Save As. And I usually like to put stuff on my desktop if I'm going to use it a lot. So we'll save it to my desktop so I can find it. Give it a new title, so I'll keep it separate from the version I already have. Right here where it says Save As type, this is going to be where you want to focus. If they tell you they've got this ancient version of Word, apparently you can save it in that old version. A lot of different choices, but usually they'll just ask for plain text, which is going to be right here. Click on that. Click on Save. You've got options here. I don't know what any of these are, so I just go with whatever the standard is. Okay, and that's done. Those fancy arrows are replaced by those mathematical alligator mouths. The bolding, the highlighting, all that stuff is gone. You do notice stuff is kind of shifted out of position. All my fancy formatting has been ruined. Most of the time that's not going to matter. The employers don't care because it's a robot reading it anyways. If you do want it to look pretty, you can still kind of get in here and fiddle around with stuff if you want to. Usually that's not necessary. Humans usually don't like this anyways, because if you notice, the sentences don't kind of go on to the next line. They just keep going off to the right forever. But if that's what they want, that's what they want. This is how you give it to them. So that's one option. No, don't need to save that.
But we don't do that unless they ask. I'm never going to send that out to anyone unless they're asking for it.
Pretty much, yeah. But sometimes they will ask for a different format.
Unless people ask me for PDFs, but never plain text.
And PDF, you basically do the same way. You go to Save As, choose where you want it, but instead of plain text, PDF is right there. So cool. I'm glad you mentioned that, so we can cover that as well. All right, so that's how that works.